Welcome to SaveMake.com. Action, start. Today we are with Rocky Hensley. We are at the headquarters of One Tom Plumber and Icon, which are companies that Rocky has founded. So first of all, I want to thank you very much. Despite the fact that you have a cast, you really wanted to do the video.
Yeah, let's do it, man. This is fun. Yeah. I've seen so many of them, and I was really excited that you asked me to be part of it. And I was like, let's do it. Even if I'm hurt, we're going to rock and roll this thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've known Rocky now, Rocky and his wife for 10 years, and I think that his life and his achievements are very interesting for you, the viewers. So can you allude a little bit about your very humble beginnings?
Sure.
And then how you made it and some of the rules that you have in your life?
Okay. Yeah, I started, like you said, very humble beginnings. I started grew up on a horse farm in Kentucky. Had a dad that was a spare not the rod kind of guy, and left home when I was at the end of my 16th year, and was homeless. Literally lived in an alley, eating out of garbage cans, and for 10 days, and then ended up in the hospital with pneumonia because I didn't have stuff. And I knew at that point in time, that's when I realized that there was one person I could count on to be successful, to get anything I wanted in life, and it's this guy, you know. And fortunately, I had some other people along the way that were monumentally helpful, because you can't do anything alone. So I had great people that I was able to kind of latch onto, including but not limited to my wife, who was probably the best human being I've ever met. And so we just started from there. I started bartending. Well, first I was a bar back, and then I ended up bartending, selling cars, and then from there started my own business, and built and sold 12 businesses along the way, and maintained 4 as we sit here today. One of them, the biggest one right now, is on pace to do about $70 million in business this year. And it's and they're all set up to where I don't have to be here. I don't have to manage the day-to-day. I got great teams and great people because we put systems and strategies in place. And we only, settle for rock stars. You can't always control who you hire, but you can control who you keep. And once we find those rock stars, we keep them, pay them, make them feel valued and important, and bring them into the process. And that's been the key to my success. It's literally systems. And they always say there's 2 reasons you have a problem in your company. 2 reasons only. 1, you don't have a system, or 2, you're not holding people accountable to your system. And 3, there's a 2.5, I say, because your system should always be changing and always be getting better. But bringing people into that, seeing what they see, because you could, as the owner, could put systems in place, but it's not what's best. So that's why it's so important to have the people that see the day-to-day to help you move these systems forward and always be getting better.
So I have a question, excuse me,
Sure.
Rocky. How much money were you handed down from your parents?
Oh, nothing.
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 So
Yeah.
that's very important. So
Yeah.
Rocky started from zero. I would say even from a handicap. I don't want to go too much into the detail, but I think some of his family members were even negative to him, and that's the reason why he went away. Can you tell us a little bit, your early years? I remember you saying that you didn't have even enough money to pay for the formula.
Well, when we first started in business, it was 4 years before I took a paycheck. And it's one of those things where I always tell people, they say, when's the best time to start a business? And I say today, because you're going to have to figure it out, especially if you're just starting, because you don't know what you don't know, and life's going to throw stuff at you. But most people that make it in business are just willing to tough it out longer than the next guy. I mean, I love the shoe dog story with Nike, where he literally was so hurting for money, he went to a box company next door and offered them stock to help him with payroll. So everybody struggles along the way, and as long as you're willing to embrace that struggle and you're willing to move it forward and keep going and going, you're eventually going to make it, because you're going to figure it out. But yeah, when my wife and we had 2 kids in diapers, and I'm starting a business, And we were struggling, and we had to go down and get food stamps because we literally didn't have enough money for diapers and formula. And we were on WIC. They were literally delivering cheese and peanut butter to our doorstep, and we were buying food with food stamps. And I never minded. It was not embarrassing. I mean, probably the most embarrassing thing I ever had happen when I was super poor was we didn't have money to pay our water bill. And because we had started a business, and they came out and spray painted on our sidewalk so that our neighbors could see "shut off." Yeah,
humiliating.
Yeah. So that was probably the only time that I felt embarrassment. Otherwise, I didn't care. I embraced the struggle. My wife was always super supportive. She didn't mind at all because she knew where we were going, and she knew there were going to be sacrifices to where. We had an old Dodge Intrepid that we would fill with milk jugs, empty milk jugs, and go over to her mom's house and fill those milk jugs up with water. So that's how we would make food and take baths. We'd heat them up, and she'd make a run every other day until we had enough money that we could get our water bill caught up. And,
so that's how you started.
Yep.
And eventually you started to make money.
Yep.
And more money,
Yep.
and you sold the business and started again. So you see, we have one video which is about making a snowman. That applies exactly here. Started very small with a small snowball that grew and grew. So now there is an interesting topic that I want to discuss with you. It's the difference between your business life and your home life.
Totally different, yeah. The way I manage money, the way I look at money is completely different. And most people always say how you do one thing is how you do everything. And that's fairly true, except when it comes to money. I look at business. Do you want me to go into that?
Exactly,
okay.
Please.
In business, like I said, we're very systemized and very structured. And I always say this term all the time. Expenses are like fingernails. You always have to be trimming them. You always have to be looking at them. You always have to be fine-tuning them.
Otherwise, they grow on you.
That's right. Yeah.
That's the.
And they get dirt under them.
Yeah.
And that's ugly. Yeah. But personally, I always looked at money as something that I needed to have personal experiences. I want to have fun. I want to have experiences. I want to go see things. I wanted a boat, and you want a bigger boat, and then you want even a bigger boat than that. So, but my wife.
You've seen the size of the aquarium behind.
And my wife is very frugal. So fortunately, what she did was, because I was spending our money on TVs and stereos, and then we didn't have money for rent. So what she did was she basically put me on commission. And I know that sounds weird for a husband and wife, where she started me an account. I didn't have access to our personal account. So every penny that walked in the door, basically, I got a percentage that I could go spend any way I wanted.
So when you said personal, you mean there was the family account?
Yes. Payroll, dividends, investments, things like that.
Yes. And that was your wife managing it?
She managed it totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you were getting a commission.
Commission.
Guy.
What do you call it when you give your kids for doing chores? Allowance. Yeah. That's what she called it, was allowance. Thank you. I'm getting old. I'm forgetting words. Yeah. But so my allowance, so I knew that if I wanted a boat, because my wife doesn't like debt, so if I wanted a boat, an RV, or anything extra, we always had to pay cash for it. So, which was really smart because, we weren't beholden to the banks to...
by the way, you remember all the time when we speak about credit card debt, he doesn't know almost what is a credit card, or at least he's repaying them every month.
Every month, but I just use them to get points to fly now.
Yeah, exactly.
So, if I wanted cool things, I wanted the experiences, I wanted to travel, I just had to bring more into the house because my allowance was basically set up like a commission for a better way to do it. So I just had to earn more, and that was so much motivation. And I wanted the company to do well, and I was very strict and strenuous about the systems that we had for the company. And so therefore I was able to make more and bring more in, and the more I brought into the household, the more I was able to spend and get that bigger boat.
And you see, so recently we had another couple, and they were explaining about a goal. They are much younger, they are in their late 20s, how they set up rules so that it would work well. So here it's a different rule. But Rocky and I, we are almost the same age, he's close to turn.
49.
Yeah, 49. We are both 49, plus.
About plus, yeah.
But it's working very well, and I know his wife, and I know that rule that they have put in place is working very well. Don't try to copy or mimic any of those rules precisely. When you watch the videos, which are filmed at my place, at the bottom is find that one thing that works for you.
A system.
The system. The system. And Rocky and his wife found the system which is working well for themselves as a household.
Yep, and then you got to hold yourself accountable to the system. It's just like in business.
Yeah.
Set up a system, and then look, you can change it. Me and my wife have changed it. Now we've got some different accounts set up to where we'll put money in for travel. We'll put money in for fun stuff. Like we have different accounts set up that we'll just throw money in, and when we get to that certain point, we'll take a trip overseas or anything like that. So we're constantly making the system better, but we are a slave to the system. I don't know if that's politically correct, but we manage the system like our life depends on it.
You are apostle to the system. Is it well said?
Yes.
Apostle to not slave because you benefit.
Right.
You foster the system.
Yes.
Like you foster the relationship with your spouse.
Yeah, so we live it, and we're not the best at always circling back up. Like, hey, we need to change it, make it better. But when we do, we clock in, and we're constantly making it better. Yeah, so it's worked for us, and that's our system. Like he said, find a system that works for you. But you got to stay to it. But if it stops to work, things change in your life. You start having kids, you got to pay for college, this, that, and the other. Always change the system based on what is in front of you, but once you change it, you stick to it again until you change it and make it better and better and better. You should always, we call it lessons learned, especially at work. We have what we call lessons learned meetings. Like if we have a big dog and pony, or we have people come in, or we meet with a bunch of customers. Afterwards, we get together, we move all the chairs, and then we sit around and we do a lessons learned meeting. What went really well with that? And we'll do more of it. What didn't work really well? Do we want to keep doing it? Or can we change it? So lessons learned meetings, and my wife and I do lessons learned meetings on our system, like what's working well, what's not working well, what has tax ramifications, what doesn't have tax ramifications, including but not limited to literally putting money into an account monthly to cover our taxes, so that when taxes come around, it's like an account that we don't even think about. Just money automatically goes in, and when we got that big tax bill, we've got the money in there to cover it, and it doesn't sting, it doesn't hurt, because it was enough along the way to where we didn't even notice it. And that's what so always be adjusting your system to make things better and better and better. But like Philip said,
needs to be your system.
It's got to be your system.
It needs to be your system, and then it's aligned with the concept, the tag, teachable, ambitious, gifted. So it needs to work for you, as it worked for Rocky and his wife's household.
Right.
So for me, the takeaways of this discussion is, one, that Rocky and his family, they were not handed down any money.
Nope.
The second is that they put in place a system which is working for them. And you, with your family, your household, you need to find what is going to work for you, and that one thing that works for you, and the tag concept. Rocky, what is the word of conclusion for this sequence?
The only advice, the concluding is find a system, work the system, stay true to the system, and then constantly make the system better. It's honestly that easy, and the best way to do that is through conversation. And look, we tried a couple of systems along the way, trying to make things better. It didn't work, and we were quick to kill them. Yeah, just because you put a system in place doesn't mean it's always the best system. So be quick to bob and maneuver, and just have conversations. It actually is really good for the marriage, it's good for the relationship, and it's good for your finances.
By the way, there is another point that I want to add to this discussion.
Yeah.
So we share a text or an email where it was said that typically you are the average of the 5 people who are living around you. And I feel very blessed because Rocky is much more successful than I am. And you should never have jealousy, it's the opposite. You should be very thankful to have people smarter than you, more successful around you, because they are going to inspire you, they are going to feed you. So perhaps that's my thank you to you and your family for welcoming
Thank you,
us.
my friend. Yeah.
And we are doing the left hand because of the cast.
He's the man. Listen to what he says. He's way smarter financially than I am. He has a plan. I just had to earn more money. We just did it different ways. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So thank you for listening, and keep listening to this cast. You're going to learn a lot.
Yeah, and by the way, Rocky has watched almost every single...
I think everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep.
Thank you for that.
Of course.
Thank you.